What makes you think it was okay to lie and cheat people so you could steal their Pokémon? It takes a lot of love and care to raise Pokémon. We worked real hard to train them all to win their Pokémon battles. You have a lot to learn. You know, you could start by listening to the podcast. Hey, I'm Veronica Taylor.
And I'm Rena Taylor.
And this is
The Trainer's Guide. Today's episode:
So near, yet so far-fetched. Hey everyone, we're back for episode 46.
46.
Amazing. We're just
Woohoo.
cooking along. We were in Atlanta this last weekend, which was so great to see everybody who came out for the show for Collecticon and also to see our relatives.
It was super nice.
Very special. It's been a crazy week since we've gotten back.
Yes.
We had a small gathering of friends to talk about Rachel Lillis, and it was nice to share some stories.
Yeah.
And we have actually, to be quite honest, just finished clearing out her apartment. And I do have to say it's been quite an honor. She doesn't have any family here in Los Angeles, so it has been left up to us to clear it out. And it's been, I think this kind of ties in with this week's episode, and that we have friends that we can know for how many years, and you never fully know everything about them.
Yeah.
And we have had the honor of really going through to separate out things that are quite important, that in a sense preserve her story so that we can pass that on. And
learning so much about her that we had no idea about.
No, the thing is, there's
things that you kind of know, but you didn't know the extent, or, so it's really cool to, I don't know. I mean, I think we all, at least you and I, really collect a lot and have like a lot of just things and little toys, but it's really amazing the story that you can tell with your stuff.
Yeah, the special things that she kept, and I don't know, we've learned more about her on a deeper level, and it's been, as I said, truly an honor.
Yeah.
Tara and Lisa have helped, and Chris Collet has helped us so much. Your friend Daisy has helped us, and it has been just extraordinary.
Yeah.
So we have completed that portion of this, and we move on to the next phase.
Yeah.
And so we will see where that journey takes us all, and we have more to talk about at a later time. But it's been a lot, and now here we are, in episode 46. In a meadow, taking a break from our journey.
Exactly, which is kind of what we're doing right now. We're taking a break to record the pod.
Yeah.
But Ash, Misty, Brock are in a meadow. They're sitting on some rocks or something, taking a break. And basically, I think right away, Ash is kind of scrolling through his Pokédex.
As they do.
Yeah, I guess. Which I always think of the Pokédex really only being used to identify Pokémon, like putting it up to a Pokémon to determine what it is. But you can look through it like a little catalog.
Of course.
I know, but I never think about using it like that.
I see.
Because I only see it in action when they're like, what is that Pokemon?
I know, and you need a Pokédex. We all need a Pokédex.
Yeah, that's right.
But yes, you can kind of scroll through to see what you might want to catch.
Yeah, it's like it's a mixture between like a book and a phone. Like Ash could probably spend hours just scrolling through his Pokédex.
As we all do on our phones these days.
I know. Anyway,
so
it's very interesting.
They have come upon this rumor that there's a Farfetch'd in the area.
And a Farfetch'd, we learn, is a wild duck Pokemon. And this is the interesting part. It says that it makes a delicious dish with leek, which is why it's carrying around a leek.
Yes.
And I thought initially that it meant that it was a chef and it made a dish with leek. But it is the dish
with the leek.
They eat the duck,
and as a result, it can twirl it around like an amazing baton, and use it as a like a
weapon.
Weapon, yeah, and also the lacrosse.
Oh yeah, a little net, like a scoop.
But not rugby, lacrosse more. Cricket.
Yeah, yeah. It's a stick.
You can use it for so many things.
Exactly. But the Farfetch'd are almost extinct because people have been eating them.
Luckily, though,
which is crazy.
I do want to say in this episode, nobody is looking to cook it. It reminds
Maybe
me,
Team
though,
Rocket, though.
Psyduck.
Yeah.
I think they mentioned
Team
that
Rocket
we could cook it.
talks about
Right.
it being a dish more than anyone else.
How edible is Psyduck?
Right.
We
Because
don't know.
Psyduck is a duck,
It
right?
has duck in the name.
Well, I know, but
We don't know.
Farfetch'd doesn't have duck in the name, and it's a duck. So what is
Of sorts.
Psyduck?
We don't
A
know.
yellow
But
blob of,
we leave that to
of
you.
achiness.
We leave that to all of you to think about that as we move forward.
Honestly, if you put a Psyduck like in a, not necessarily a boiling pot of water, but like a warm pot of water, it would probably relax.
Mm-hmm. Just like the frog. And then it starts boiling and it just gets used to it. We all know about that, but it's really a story about a Psyduck.
Exactly. But that probably would be helpful for the migraines. Anyway, I don't know.
Good point.
I'm just trying to look out for it.
This is so gross. Let's move on.
Yeah, this is disgusting. Sorry, everybody. So Brock and Ash go to get some water to fill up their canteens. And Misty is left alone with Psyduck.
That little unhatched
and the egg.
Togepi also.
Yeah, spoiler.
And
it's a Togepi.
Don't we know?
No, it's just an egg.
Anyway, okay, and then what should appear but a Farfetch'd on the horizon, marching in, saying its name, twirling.
Farfetch'd.
Yeah, it has the leak.
Yes.
And then it shows its baton twirling skills.
It performs for Misty. Mm-hmm. It does some twirling. It's pretty amazing. And then Misty's like, I'm going to capture it. And so she starts chasing it. It runs away. And as they're running, she bumps into this man in the woods.
A kid.
A boy.
Yeah, kid.
A mysterious boy. And anyway, they're like, oh, sorry, I wasn't looking where I was going. Misty's like, that's okay. And he goes, oh, here's your bag. Thank you. And then he leaves and she goes, oh, shoot, I lost the Farfetch'd. So she goes back to the clearing and basically tells Ash and Brock what happened. And they're kind of upset. I thought they would be upset because she left their stuff in the open. But they're kind of upset that if she had caught the Farfetch'd, they're like, are you going behind our back? And she's like, no, if I caught it, we would have shared it. What is that all about?
I don't know, because it seems like the guys are out for catching Pokemon, but there's been no talk of sharing before this.
Yeah, Ash never shares anything he catches.
Right, but she
has to share.
I think it's because they're all looking for the Farfetch'd. So if one of them, it's so rare that if one of them finds it, then they all somehow agree
maybe
to
that's
keep it
specific.
together. But it's I thought that was interesting, and she kind of cows to them and says, "Oh no, of course I meant we would share it." And anyway, then she looks in her backpack and realizes it's not her backpack; it's been switched
with rocks.
Yes, rocks in little pieces of tissue paper.
And she goes, "Oh my gosh, somebody." I must have gotten the wrong bag.
With the guy.
But we find out that he's actually a thief.
He has a really nice tent area that he's camping out in. Yeah. A tent full of backpacks because he and his Farfetch'd are thieves.
They are in it together.
Yes.
Stealing people's Pokemon. And it's crazy. And so then, before we kind of find out why, we get another theft because Team Rocket are also walking through the woods, also looking for Farfetch'd. And he comes up and with his Farfetch'd and he says, "Hey, you guys, so happy to run into you. I'm looking to give away my Farfetch'd, and I've also got these 3 other Pokemon." And
they're Misty's Pokemon.
Yeah, Starmie, Staryu, and what was the other one? I can't remember. Anyway, Goldeen or something.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
he's just handing out someone else's
I've got these
Pokeballs.
Pokeballs too that I want to get rid of. And Team Rocket are like, oh, okay, let's make a deal. We'll take them off your hands. So he leads them to this dock where there's a little boat with the Farfetch'd and the 3 Pokeballs in this bag. And he goes, I forgot something. So he runs off and they seize their moment. They take the Farfetch'd and the bag. They get into the little boat. And as they're driving away, laughing gleefully,
lo and behold,
the boat springs a leak.
The cork holding, plugging the hole in the boat pops out. And of course it sinks. And this is where we see Farfetch'd in the water, skimming along.
And their
catching the Pokeballs.
Team Rocket's Pokeballs get into the water. And so they are floating down the river, and Farfetch'd comes with a little net, and using its leak as like a paddle, it pops the balls into the net and then swims away.
So we see here how greed is used against them to best them. So because they're so greedy and want to steal everything, this guy who is not named, we could call him Robin Hood.
Totally.
But he steals for himself.
He's kind of,
But anyway, this kid, he's basically using everything against the people.
Yeah, totally.
So
they are so greedy. On their weaknesses.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because he thinks that his Farfetch'd is so weak.
Right. And so this is the thing. So we get this.
Yes.
We get this thing where after he takes the stuff from Team Rocket, they go back to their tent, and he's like, "Oh, Farfetch'd, when I rescued you off the side of the road, you were so weak, and I nursed you back to health, and all we can do is
we can only be thieves
and steal
because you're too weak,
because you can't fight,
and I have no skills.
Yeah, we're so weak,
so we're just going to continue stealing things from people
because that's the only way we can survive."
Yeah. So here again, we go back to one of our themes, which is you never learn enough about a person.
Right.
And so this, whether it's your Pokémon or your friends, it's not necessarily that you don't take the time, but sometimes you just are doing other things. He's busy thieving and doesn't even think he has another option. I have so many friends that I know them in different parts of their lives, but I don't know everything about their lives.
Right.
And so I don't necessarily call upon them for their strengths.
And in this instance, he never takes the time to then go to the next level with Farfetch'd.
Right.
Like he never tries to learn more about it or say, "I know you're weak, but do you want to try this?"
Right.
You know? And so, yeah, I mean, even they are falling into the trap of that they set for everybody else. Is they're playing into their own weakness they're not trying to get better. So because interesting.
As we've talked about before, that's the point about the best thing about being human. Stay curious. Continue to learn. You make yourself better and those around you. And that's not something they're doing here.
And it's even if it's easier or even if it's less difficult to take the easy way.
Yes.
It's not always the best.
That's it.
Because you're not always learning.
Yeah.
And even if something is difficult, you always learn from that. I mean, gosh, that's what we've learned from
all of our failures.
45 episodes that we've watched.
I know.
It's things are hard, but you got to push through and then you'll always come out better on the other side.
That's it.
But if you never push yourself, you won't grow.
You stay in your black hole. Kind of.
You just keep stealing stuff.
Yeah, like ideas from people.
Exactly.
In fact, I'm just kidding. But also in this, we found out because our heroes have gone to see Officer Jenny and report the thievery. And she says that they are the 5th victim of this boy and his Farfetch'd. Right. So this has been happening for a while, as evidenced by all the backpacks in the tent.
Yeah. And then Team Rocket come back. So they're following him in their balloon. So Team Rocket come and they basically like find him and they go, "Hey, oh, wait."
But you can do that.
Well, they say, "Hey, give us our Pokemon back." And he's like, "Oh, I was just about to. Here you go. Here, have this whole bag of Pokemon."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, well, we can't say no to that."
"Oh, yeah, maybe we misjudged him."
Yeah.
What were we thinking? Let's get out of here. Right. And they take off in their balloon.
They take this duffel bag of Pokeballs up in their balloon and are gone. Meanwhile, Psyduck has escaped from the Pokeball.
In the tent.
Leaves the tent.
Wanders away.
And Misty is kind of waxing on about how she's missing her Pokemon except for Psyduck, blah, 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 as we all know. And then Psyduck comes and, of course, she's like, "I've missed you so much."
I think that's genuine, though.
I'm sure it is.
She genuinely is so happy and then quickly becomes unhappy because Psyduck, of course, can't give any answers as to where are the Pokemon, where are the backpacks, where is the boy. And she is shaking Psyduck a little too much.
Yeah, and so Psyduck eventually leads them back to the thief and his Farfetch'd.
Right.
So we get to them, and Team Rocket have just left, and then basically the boy turns around and is cornered by or surrounded by
Ash, Misty, Brock, Officer Jenny.
Jenny. I was going to say Jessie. Thank you. And then we kind of get this opening line that we had at the beginning of this episode where Ash is saying, we've all worked really hard to train our Pokemon. You can't just steal them, all this kind of stuff. And Jenny is like, let's show him a real battle. Let's show him.
Right.
Let's show him how difficult a match really is. And he's, what? Huh? And like, yeah, let's do that. And he goes, but Farfetch'd is too weak. And Brock says something interesting, which is Pokemon get stronger with their trainers. Like as they go, as they work, they get better. They can't get worse.
Right.
Which is kind of an interesting thing.
Again, you always have to be, you can't rest on your laurels.
Yeah.
You have to be pushing yourself, challenging yourself. Some people do crossword puzzles. Some people battle Pokemon.
Do the mini.
Yeah.
New York Times, every day they've got some great puzzles. And the mini is a good one.
When you can't battle with your Pokemon, do the New York Times mini.
Yeah. And connections. That's a really hard one.
Now you know a lot about us.
It's good. Anyway, it's a good brain teaser.
So
anyway,
they're fully on into battle.
Ash is battling with Bulbasaur.
Rips out Bulbasaur.
And Farfetch'd is like, far. It wants to fetch far. It wants to battle. It's like, put me in, coach. And the kid, who will not be named.
No, Farfetch'd.
No, you can't do it. No, you're not strong. And Farfetch'd is like, Farfetch'd. Yeah. And anyway, it really puts up a good fight.
It does.
We see a lot of stuff, and this boy has no idea what his Farfetch'd could do.
Right, because Bulbasaur hits it with Vine Whip, and then Farfetch'd pulls out agility.
Totally.
And is zooming around and then whacking Bulbasaur violently with the leak, and which causes Bulbasaur to topple over and lose.
Yeah. And the kid is like, wow, I had no idea I'd had these powers. I would have used them to steal.
Yeah, I know, which is not learning the lesson
learned anything
at all.
Doesn't learn anything. And then Ash is like, okay, Pikachu, let's do this. And Misty says, no, I'm going to do it. He stole from me. But she doesn't have any of her Pokemon except for Psyduck.
Well, she calls Staryu.
Right.
But her Pokemon have not been returned.
Yeah.
So Psyduck, of course, pops out.
Psyduck volunteers. And as we all know how this goes, Farfetch'd is using its leak
to whack its head.
It underestimates Psyduck, as we all do. And it kind of laughs in Psyduck's face and starts just hitting it in the forehead with its leak.
Right.
And Misty, knowing what's going to happen, goes, yeah, Farfetch'd, give it your best shot.
Again, praying to its weakness.
Totally.
Which it is so kind of boastful.
Yep.
And
taking the easy way, using a prop.
Yeah.
Not even doing its own thing.
Whacking away to give Psyduck a bigger migraine. And the migraine attack, which is very forceful.
Oh my gosh,
blasts the boy and the Farfetch'd up into a tree, and they drop down.
Yeah, the disabled.
Whacked out.
Yeah. And so they have no idea what was coming. And meanwhile, Team Rocket are still up in their balloon, looking at the goodies.
Gleefully looking at all
and
those
they say,
Pokeballs.
What's in here? And they open all the Pokeballs, and they are all Voltorbs.
All of them.
Which, okay, a Voltorb has to be not explosive at some point.
But when they get mad,
but they seem to always be mad.
Anger management is what the Voltorbs need.
They need therapy.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Who would... Nurse Jenny.
Nurse Joy.
Oh, shoot. I was like so set on that. Again, but learning too much about me.
Officer Jenny could be a good one.
Yeah, but
she could go into nursing.
Crime.
Yeah, but she has her crime fighting background, would probably be helpful to sympathize with these angry Voltorbs.
And understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she could have an interesting twist.
Okay, but Nurse Joy is okay. Actually, you know what though? What about Professor Oak?
I think Professor Oak actually would be pretty good. Because he also loves to talk. And so he could just chat while they cook. Stew,
Stew. Is it back into the hot boiling
episode.
Water?
So all the Voltorb go out of their balloon.
Yes.
And land right into the
course, on the boy
field.
And his Farfetch'd.
Right. And of course, at that point, he's like, I'll never steal again. Rah, 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 rah.
So it takes electrocution, I guess.
Yeah,
for people to turn good.
Well, sometimes it has to happen.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
So
we're on fire today.
Yes. So anyway, everybody knows.
Then we basically go.
It's
and
wrong
the kid
to steal.
Has
it's
kind
wrong
of
not
turned
to
himself in.
Trust Farfetch'd, like,
yes. Don't trust Farfetch'd.
And so, and I think, who is it that says Pokemon can be anything a trainer wants them to be, right? Brock had said, don't judge a Pokemon by their looks, and they can be anything you want them to be. But I would also add to that anything that the Pokemon wants to be. Yeah. We all can bring out the best in each other. And that's the important point to take from this, is that we have to work together. Mm-hmm. Humanity and community must work together.
And you have to believe in yourself and others.
That's it.
I mean, gosh, that's the whole thing. The kid is like, it was wrong to steal and wrong to not believe in Farfetch'd. They didn't even try.
No.
He saw the baton twirling and was like, that's enough.
That's it for me. Also, he has a very tidy campsite. He has,
he's got a lot going for him.
Yes, there are talents that he has that probably could be used in a greater forum.
I think so. So, and he makes people trust him, which is he's a good con man.
The art of manipulation.
Right, but he could use that for good.
Yes, again, he could be a therapist maybe.
Oh, now we're talking.
He could work with Officer Jenny because he needs to atone.
Yeah, well, that could be his community service. Is giving the therapy to all the Voltorbs.
Yes, or any Pokemon that needs it.
Yeah.
So this, I think, was a good episode to learn about the fact that there's always more to learn about each other.
Yeah. That
we are so lucky to have people in our orbit, and we shouldn't take them for granted. That, and we should also acknowledge that and celebrate it.
Yeah.
And then, keep training to be your best. Challenge.
Baton twirling.
Oh, that was so good in this episode.
I'm inspired. I am inspired.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get on to that. And, go out to practice.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good time for the Poke Wrap Up,
where we hear from you, the Pokemon community.
We asked you to send in your favorite Pokemon memories, stories, and inspirations.
And here is one of this week's.
Hi, Veronica and Rina. My name is Pedro, and I'm from Portugal. I've been a huge fan of the Pokémon anime for as long as I can remember. The series has not only captivated me with its stories and characters, but it has also played a special role in my life, especially when it comes to learning English. I believe, Veronica, that your performances of Ash, Delia, and May contributed to this, and I'm really thankful for that. Now, talking about the games, I also spent countless hours playing Pokemon Yellow, Silver, and Ruby, and I'm still playing every new game that arrives. Trico, Leafeon, and Pichu are my favorite Pokemon. Ladies, a huge hug from Portugal. Hoping you can come here for an event sometime soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pedro, for sending in that wonderful memory. You are amazing. And yes, we'd love to go to Portugal anytime.
Maybe we can stay in your house.
No, and watch TV together.
Yeah.
But we want to hear from all of you.
You can email us a short recording or write to us at trainersguidepod@gmail.com.
And try to keep it short, maybe 30 seconds or so we don't have to edit.
Oh, and please include your first name and where you're from.
Well, that about wraps up today's episode of The Trainer's Guide. And, as they say, to be continued. We hope that you continue to join us on this journey that is The Trainer's Guide.
As you know, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wherever you're listening now.
And if you subscribe, comment, and rate the podcast, it helps others find the show and keeps us on the air.
Thank you so much in advance for your generosity and all of your amazing support.
Trainer's Guide is a production of Boom Integrated.
We are co-executive producing this along with
the amazing Adrienne Glover
and the incomparable Robin Lai. I'm your host, Veronica Taylor.
And I'm your host, Rena Taylor.
And this has been The Trainer's Guide. We'll see you out there on the road.